In my last video, I went over 7 things I thought Oblivion did better than Skyrim, and it was really well received. So to keep it fair, in this video, I'm going to be going over 7 things I think Skyrim does better than Oblivion. Before we get into this, 2 things. First of all, don't make this a little game versus game war in the comments section. I'm here to just talk about 2 games I love very dearly. And second of all, I'm going to do a little bit of self-promo. I'm currently working on a Skyrim mod that's going to be adding to the dungeons of the game, expanding on them and giving them new and unique themes. You'll see it on screen right now. If you're interested, there's a link in the description to the channel where I'm talking about the mod and to some trailers. Feel free to check them out if you want, but no pressure if you don't want to. It's just a little passion project of mine. So let's get into 7 things I think Skyrim does better than Oblivion. The first thing that comes to mind is the city immersion. Now you could argue that the cities overall are much better in Oblivion. And I wouldn't personally stop you. I think both games have great cities for different reasons, and the reason I love the Skyrim cities are because you can really get immersed in that world. For example, a blacksmith isn't just a piece you can look at as you're walking down the streets. No, you can go and forge your own items. Oh, you see a stump with a little wooden axe, you can go and chop some wood. You see a little grindstone, why don't you go sharpen your weapon? You see a workbench, go and upgrade your gear. What I'm saying is, the city lets you interact with it a lot more, and I really like that. It feels like when you're walking into the cities of Skyrim, they're almost more lively and livable because you see NPCs doing these same things, and you can go do them too. It lets you immerse yourself in the actual city as a whole, and I really like that, and I think Oblivion misses that. The next thing might get me a bit of flack, but I'm gonna back it. It's map variety. I feel like when I'm playing Oblivion, you got 2 types of locations. You've got the Geralt Mountains near Bruma, where it's lovely and snowy and it absolutely looks fantastic, and then you've got, well, the rest of the map. And the rest of the map is kind of just greeny hills. And it's not bad. I love Oblivion's map, I think it's beautifully crafted and it looks fantastic in the remaster. But when I play Skyrim, I feel like when I'm in different locations of Skyrim, I feel it a lot more. If I'm in Markarth, I would never confuse myself to being near Windhelm. If I'm near Riften, I'm never going to confuse myself for being by Whiterun. If I'm in Morthal, I clearly fast travel to the wrong place. The point I'm making is that Skyrim's map has a lot of variety across it. There seems to be a lot more going on. You wouldn't confuse one city for another. And I'm not saying you necessarily would in Oblivion, but I just feel like the themes and locations of the map in Skyrim, they just seem to be a lot more varied and distinct, and I guess I like that there's different themes and varieties, and as you walk across the map, you do feel like you're actually traversing a really big and expansive location. It also helps that Skyrim feels so much larger than Oblivion. So yeah, I'm definitely going to give like map variety and scope to Skyrim. The next one may also get me a little bit of flack, but I'm definitely going to back this one, and that's dungeons. Now, when I got onto Oblivion Remastered, the way these dungeons looked, they looked fantastic. The way they played, I was a bit disappointed, I won't lie. There are so many repeat interiors when it comes to Oblivion, and now, I know saying this when I'm talking about Skyrim is a little ironic. Skyrim definitely has very samey dungeons, but I never felt like I'm going through the exact same thing. In Oblivion, there are times when I'm going through a dungeon and I'm like, I could have swore I've done this one. And that happens on multiple occasions. I also believe that the dungeons are better designed in Skyrim. A lot of the time when you're playing Skyrim, you magically, whilst working your way through a dungeon, end up right near the exit, towards the back end of it. And of course, that's no major thing, but when you are traversing dungeons, it's nice to know you don't have to backtrack all this way just to leave. And the way that the dungeons are designed actually kind of, they factor this in, and I love that. Now, that's not saying Skyrim's dungeons are perfect. I'm telling you now, no one is ever going to catch me having a good time in a Falmer ruins, bro. No one wants to be there. And if I'm ever in a dwarven mine, I'm miserable, okay? I'm miserable. But I do think they have a bit more variety. I do think they're better designed. And I do think they're generally just a bit more entertaining to go through. So it's not that Oblivion's mines are bad, but I think they're a little repetitive. And honestly, I just prefer Skyrim's dungeons as a whole. Now, the next one shouldn't be too hard to disagree with. I love the family systems Skyrim has, and the fact that Oblivion doesn't have that kind of sucks. Now, to my knowledge, this was added in the Hearthfire DLC. It wasn't actually based Skyrim, but I'm comparing the remasters of Skyrim to the remaster of Oblivion, okay? We're keeping it fair here, so don't worry. But yeah, I think the fact that you can marry characters, have children with characters, move them into houses, customize those houses, build your own houses, and the family systems you can have with that are just, quite frankly, they're fucking awesome. I think it's one of those things that sets Skyrim apart from Oblivion and adds to its immersion. I think it's the reason why the worlds feel sometimes so lived in. It's because, you know, you can actually have like a wife or husband in the game, and that's awesome, and you can't have that in Oblivion. And I think that when you get into, you know, crafting your own houses and stuff and moving your family in, I think that that's really awesome, and I think, again, it makes Skyrim Skyrim. And when I was playing Oblivion Remastered, I was at a point where I was like, oh, I wonder if I can marry anyone in this game. And then I was like, oh my god, you can't. What? You can't marry anyone? And I was like, wow, that sucks. Next up, we have the leveling and upgrade system. Now, I don't know how hot of a take this will be, but I like the way Skyrim levels up and the way you spend skill points and the whole skill tree system. I think it's neat. To be truthful, when I play Oblivion, the UI, even in the remaster, confuses the hell out of me. I finally got around to it now and I understand it, but I'm not exactly a big fan of it. I'm not a fan of Oblivion's upgrade system and skill system. I don't like the fact you have to go to sleep just to get an upgrade. I think it's kinda lame. And even when I play games like Starfield and Fallout, I'm like, I do not enjoy the upgrading skill system there. Fallout is just so damn, like, clustered. There's just so much stuff everywhere. It's like cluttered, that's the word I'm looking for. It's all cluttered in the menus. And Starfield's, it's just overcomplicated. But I think Skyrim has a healthy balance, you know, you cycle through the skills you want to upgrade, and as you upgrade them, you can get better at it and unlock new abilities. They keep it simple, and I think that in this situation, scaling it back and making it more simple is better. That's not to say it's always better. I miss like the passive skills, stuff like acrobatics and sprint speed, slowly upgrading as you're going through the game, just because you spend more time running or jumping. That's really neat. But I wouldn't trade that for what Skyrim has, which is the overall upgrade system. I think overall, the way the leveling system works in Skyrim is better. Now, the biggest thing I loved about Skyrim compared to Oblivion Remastered was the fact that they removed the stupid durability feature. I understand that Oblivion's not the most modern of games, and this was from a time where Bethesda for some reason were obsessed with adding durability to everything. It was one of my big pet peeves about Fallout 3 too. They were just like, oh well, my weapon's broke, I've got to fix it up. It drove me around the bend back then, and it does the same now even in the Oblivion Remaster. Obviously once you got plenty of repair hammers, it's not a big deal. But I feel like the way Skyrim does it, it's just like, well, that feature really just causes inconvenience, so let's just not have it. That is the right philosophy. And I think for me, the fact it's not in the game genuinely makes the game better. Obviously, it's no major thing. It's not like it scored Skyrim some extra major points. It's not like it just turned the game from a 7 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. But it's a nitpick of Oblivion I have, and they solved that in the most simple way ever by simply just getting rid of the annoying feature. I like that. And finally, this was something I didn't realize I loved about Skyrim until I didn't have it. That was dual wielding. I don't typically play a class when it comes to Skyrim. I typically have like a loadout for everything. I have a good bow, I have some good daggers, I have a good sword, and I have some good spells. So I can kind of do what I want. And the best thing about that is I can make combinations with stuff like this. I can have a lightning bolt in my left hand and a dagger in my right. Or I can have a war axe in my right hand and flames in the other. I think that's perfect. I think that that makes the combat overall a lot more fun and you can experiment a bit more. And Skyrim's combat is not something I'm going to sit here and go, wow, good job guys, because let's face it, even by 2011 standards, it's a bit shit. But overall, the dual wielding systems add a lot more replayability to the game for me and make overall combat a hell of a lot more fun. When I play Oblivion and I can't dual wield, I genuinely don't like it. I'm like, wow, this sucks. Let me dual wield. And I think that that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know that this one was delayed quite a few times. I've got a lot going on, mainly with this stupid mod. But as promised, here it is. You've got the video finally. I hope you enjoyed. If you want more Elder Scrolls stuff, subscribe. But I don't know why I do this at the end of the video. You've all clicked off by this point. But if you're still watching, bro, click subscribe. Come on, you just sat through 10 minutes of content. Look at you with your good attention span. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Anyways, though. See you in the next video, guys. Take care.